Ayer conmemoramos 10 años del asesinato de Filiberto Ojeda Ríos, que ocurrió en Hormiguero, Puerto Rico. Esto no fue hace 100 años atrás, esto no fue hace 200 años atrás, esto fue hace 10 años atrás y fue asesinado por el FBI, la policía del mundo.
So what we're mentioning now is that not only are we celebrating the Puerto Rican fight for independence, but also the moment in history that happened 10 years ago when the leader of the macheteros, the leader of the macheteros was murdered in Puerto Rico 10 years ago for fighting for justice for all Puerto Ricans. This was not something that happened 100 years ago. This is not our history. This is recent history where people remember this.
A un hombre viejo que había luchado unas tremendas batallas, lo rodearon en el barrio, crearon un perímetro para que nadie pudiera accesar y le dispararon y lo dejaron desangrar. Esto fue hace 10 años atrás, no hace 50, no hace 100.
An old man living in a cabin in the woods by himself was followed up by SWAT teams. Literally, an old man who had nothing to do, a trained man who was also a machetero, but at the same time, he was by himself. A whole SWAT team covered the area on the 23rd, on the famous day of the revolt, and he was assassinated. So the United States allowed him to be assassinated.
Así que hoy miramos a nuestras administraciones, a nuestro sistema que perpetúa este daño, que perpetúa esta opresión y le decimos basta ya. Gritamos ayer y vamos a gritar hoy. ¡Que viva Puerto Rico libre!
¡Que viva Puerto Rico libre! Today is the day that we are not only remembering our history, but our present and how Puerto Ricans are still oppressed for the crisis and Puerto Ricans here in the Bronx and Dominicans and of all Caribbean people. ¡Que viva Puerto Rico!
Everybody's a part of the story, whether you think it's a part of you or not. I differ. Because what we're talking about is people of African descent. So I'm just going to bring it from there. I'm going to talk it from that level. We are all here, whether you're Dominican, Cuban, Puerto Rican, African American, Afro-Latino. We are people of African descent. That's what I'm talking about. What's the difference between an African and American and an African Latino? It's our language. But we are the same. We are one. Topetances was an abolitionist, and he was fighting for the freedom of the blacks in Puerto Rico. So what do we talk about? What do we have in common when we talk about Black Lives Matter? That's what we're talking about. This happened many years ago in the island of Puerto Rico, where we was fighting for the liberation for the blacks. So we have a lot in common, whether you're Dominican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, African American, or African Latino. It's about you. That's what this is about. Thank you very much.
All right, everybody. Let me just find this real quick. Hold on. So what are we doing here today? Why are students from the Bronx, right, considering this event as an actual thing? Why are we participating in Grito de Lares? Why are we remembering this history? Because for one, the current situation right now stands that Puerto Rico is $70 billion in debt on a small island of just 3 million people. How did we let this happen? How is this going on right now? Well, the situation remains that the island is changing drastically, where we're being owned by corporations. The United States has hands gripped around the islands. Hedge funds are literally closing universities, public schools, firing teachers. This is the same thing that's happening in the Bronx. Today in the Bronx, what we're seeing is the closing of our universities, the rising of tuitions, the expulsion of students primarily of Black and Latino descent and of color. The same thing is going on, and what we're saying is that we need to commemorate this and remember this time, because we are part of this history. What's happening in Puerto Rico is happening to us right here. Gentrification is happening in Puerto Rico. Gentrification is happening in the Bronx. Our people are affected there, and when they come over here, we're dealing with the same sickness. And we're tired. We are absolutely tired with this. Every single time. Whether it be Dominicans coming and living in the Heights, or Puerto Ricans in El Barrio, we're all being displaced, right? Black people are being displaced from Harlem. Yet we still try to find the differences in each other. Today is the day we remember our connections, our unity, what holds us together. All power to the people.
All power to the
people.
So right now, what we're gonna start to do is start having a little sound going on, traveling, and then we're gonna march to Kingsbridge. Okay? So. So what we're gonna be doing is marching to Kingsbridge and Jerome, called Grito de Lares Way. Grito de Lares Way represents an important day in history because it was yesterday, right? That is our history. However, we are taking this conversation to the community because as students, we are also part of that community. We need to remember that. We need to remember that right now in today's time, CUNY has students, majority from Kingsbridge community, from all over the city, from the poorest communities in the city. However, what are we doing for those communities? Lehman can't even afford one single meal for everyone in Kingsbridge, yet we get to spend $10,000 on gazebos and on fancy things that don't even fulfill us. When there are students here that are starving, that are poor, that can't even pay tuition, that need aid. Well, if they're not going to do it, then we're going to do it. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
All right, start the music. Let's go, y'all. We're going to start that music. People, yes, say power. People,
Power.
People, power. Yes, say people, yes, say power.
People.
Power.
People.
Power. People,
Power.
People,
Power.
People,
Power.
People,
Power.
Yo, slow down, slow down.
¡Ey! ¡Quédate ahí! Dale, dale. Vamos a hablar con la gente. Dale, aquí está la gente. Turn it this way.
Okay, we're here today with the People Power Club at Lehman, People Power Movement, and our comrades in solidarity to talk about how the crisis in Puerto Rico, the crisis in the Bronx, the crisis in Brooklyn, the crisis at CUNY is all connected.
Guys, make them pass so people can walk.
It isn't separate. These struggles aren't separate.
Making sure that we're on the way.
So we're on campus today letting the students know that they have a role in this struggle because all of us have the same enemy. The same people raising your tuition are the same people destroying the economy of Puerto Rico. The same people who are telling you can't get financial aid are the same people gentrifying Kingsbridge, gentrifying Bed-Stuy, gentrifying Red Hook, gentrifying Harlem. And so what we're saying is that wherever we have our people, we need to organize so that we can connect these dots and stop what they're doing to us and change this system. We need fundamental social change. We need for the people to be in charge, not the corporations. We need for the people to make the decisions, not the politicians. We need for people to have popular control, not rich people's control. And so that's what we're doing here today on the anniversary of Puerto Rico's first struggle for independence called El Grito de
Lares.
El Grito de
Lares.
El Grito de
Lares.
So we're here to inform the campus, and we welcome the guards to learn with us, to be with us, because they're going to be with us anyway. So we might as well welcome them.
Hi, y'all.
So we're going to have speak outs here on campus. We want to include y'all, and of course, when we're dealing with our people, we got to have food, we got to have love, and we got to have warmth, and we got to build a movement that's going to defend Kingsbridge, that's going to defend Harlem, that's going to defend Lehman at CUNY. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Que viva Puerto Rico libre!
Que viva.
Que viva Puerto Rico libre!
Que viva.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
May we please remember that next week, People Power is having an event called Artivism. We will be showing, in 2 weeks, we will have an event called Artivism. We will be showing photos in the exhibit. Look inside at People Power Lehman. It will be in the theater, right over the Lovinger Theater. We will be having a photo exhibit with Black Lives Matter protest photos about the struggle from Puerto Rico, from everywhere. We will be connecting the dots between here, the Bronx, and of course the island, all right? Que viva Puerto Rico.
Que viva.
Libre.
peace. College should be free for all of the people. College should be free for all the people. Free Palestine. Que viva Puerto Rico libre.
¡Viva!
The people united will never be defeated. 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 The people.
Jamás será vencido, el pueblo unido jamás será vencido, el pueblo unido jamás será vencido, el pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
Will never be defeated. The students united. The students united will never be defeated. 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 Hey, we got a lot of brothers speak. But sisters are gonna step up now. Come on, let's go. Please. Come on now. That's it. Come on, sister. Let's get 'em.
Dale.
A big hand. Sister Kirby. Sister organization, DSL.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
I was gonna read this, but that would be so embarrassing on camera. So my name is Carly. I'm a member of the Party for Socialism and Liberation. I'm so happy that my comrades from PDM invited me to be here. Thank you so much for having us here. I do want to say that there might be people who look at this march and see the diversity of it and be like, everybody here is not Puerto Rican. Why they marching?
Right.
What can you possibly know about that flag that they have behind them? And the reality is this, as a Haitian woman, I know that black struggle has always coincided with our brown brothers and sisters. Simon Bolivar proved that to us. Puerto Rico showed in that anniversary that we always speak about the true power of the people. What happens when people come together? You make the oppressor retreat. And that's what they did. What we have to do here as fighters, as people who call themselves revolutionaries, is break the chains here also. We have a duty to the people of Puerto Rico. If we want to free Puerto Rico, we got to free ourselves. They're looking to us to do what we have to do here. They're looking to us to show solidarity by fighting for our people here. We have a duty. It's not just coming out during the Puerto Rican Day Parade. It's not just coming out during this rally and looking, it's getting involved, it's getting active. We all have a responsibility. We call ourselves humans, that is our responsibility to fight for our brothers and sisters. I don't care what color you are, and I don't care how you view me. But if you're oppressed, I gotta fight for you. If you're down and out, I gotta fight for you. We're on the CUNY campus. I remember, oh, let's not talk about how many years ago it was. Let's not talk about that CUNY struggle. Oh my God. But when we came together, we shook up the CUNY administration. But it's nothing new. What we're doing, beating on drums, calling our people, bringing in the ancestors, talking about Puerto Rico and oppression, rocking that flag, that's old. We're just following the tradition. And we gotta keep following. We gotta acknowledge our roots. We gotta know our past to build our future. So thank you so much for having me here, for having the PSL here, for allowing me to speak. And we gotta keep marching, so I'm gonna stop talking.
Right. Que viva Puerto Rico libre.
¡Viva!
Socialista.
¡Socialista, que viva! ¡Vivo!
All right. ¿Cuál es la
Hello,
consigna?
everybody.
¿Cuál es la consigna? ¿Cuál es
Jay.
la consigna?
That was good.
Dale, dale.
Aquí mismo, aquí.
All right, everybody. We are making a stop right here because we are pointing out to the community that this armory that's standing right to our side will be carrying a center that will gentrify the community. That means that when they change this area and when they put it as a center, as we speak, the rents are raising in the neighborhood. We're all affected by what's going to happen. Kingsbridge will no longer look like this. Stores on each and every single part of this block have been off
Sí, sí, puede pasar si quiere, señor. Por aquí recto, derecho.
We need to take back our communities, people. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
We're heading this way.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo únete. Únete, únete. Ale a la lucha de. Únete, únete.
Caminando porque me está llamando. Caminando, caminando. Caminando porque me está llamando. Caminando, caminando. Caminando porque me está llamando. Caminando, caminando, caminando porque me está llamando.
¡Que viva Puerto Rico! ¡Que viva! ¡Que viva Puerto Rico!
Caminando porque me está llamando. Caminando, caminando. Caminando porque me está llamando.
Everybody, gather around, everybody.
¿Qué dice ahí? What does it say there? Una vez más, ¿qué dice ahí?
¡El Grito de Lares!
Cuando yo diga que viva Puerto Rico libre, ustedes dicen que viva Puerto Rico libre.
¡Que viva! Para empezar, we're going to start here our second part of our program. We're going to have JSP from the Kingsbridge community to mention about what's happening in Kingsbridge. JSP, Jay. Hey, Jay. Please give Jay a round of applause.
When I say people, y'all say power. People.
Power.
People. Power. All right. Welcome to Kingsbridge. Welcome to the Bronx. Thank you for coming. Welcome to this beautiful community of Puerto Ricanos, Dominicanos, Morenos, Black people, Dominican people, Puerto Rican people. United. Struggle. I want to tell you a little bit about the unity between Puerto Ricanos and Dominicanos. Between Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. Because people don't know the history of unity between those two countries or two islands. Because a lot of times Dominicans and Puerto Ricans have a wall between us. And that wall wasn't created by us. That wall was created by our enemy, by our conqueror, by the colonizer, by those who enslaved us. So I'm here to tell you a little history. Ramon Emilio Betances was a Puerto Rican revolutionary, independista, who went to the Dominican Republic to organize the revolution in Puerto Rico in 1868 on September 3rd. He organized the revolutionary struggle in the Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo, my family to Santo Domingo. So we have a history of struggle and unity between the two islands. Also, we have Eugenio de Maria de Hostos, who was an important educator in Puerto Rico, who founded the
first teachers college in Dominican Republic. He was born in Puerto Rico, and he was buried in the Dominican Republic because he refused to be buried in an island that was colonized by the United States and by Spain. So he was buried in the Dominican Republic, where he is still buried, and his remains will stay there until Puerto Rico is free, until Puerto Rico is independent. So he is buried in the Dominican Republic. Another connection between the Puerto Ricans and African Americans is that we have Arturo Schomburg, who is a Puerto Rican of African descent. And he fought for the independence of Puerto Rico. And he identified as Afro-Boricua because he knew he was black. He was Puerto Rican, but he was also of African descent. So we have a unity between black people, Puerto Ricans, and Dominicans that we cannot ignore and we cannot forget. Because I am Dominican, but I am in solidarity with Boricuas and their independence struggle. I love Puerto Rico as much as I love the Dominican Republic. And because of that, I support Puerto Rico and the people of Puerto Rico. ¡Viva Puerto Rico libre!
¡Que viva Puerto Rico libre!
¡Que viva! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Betances!
¡Que viva!
¡Que viva!
Necesito traductor.
I don't really need this, y'all, so we don't really need this at all.
Ella puede hablar.
¡Que viva Puerto Rico! ¡Que viva Puerto Rico!
¡Que viva!
¡Que viva Puerto Rico!
¡Que viva!
¡Que viva Puerto Rico!
¡Que viva!
What are we here for again? The grito de what?
Lares!
The grito de what?
Lares!
The grito de what?
Lares!
We're going to be introducing Antonio, who will be speaking. I'll be translating. Antonio, round of applause, everybody.
Muchas gracias, muy buenas tardes, familia. Quiero agradecerle a todos que están aquí, porque realmente yo diría que es el último día que hace calor y el primero que hace frío.
Good evening, everybody. And thank y'all for coming out. Please, because we understand.
Bueno, pues lo escribí porque estoy medio nervioso, es la primera vez que hablo de esta manera. Pero ustedes son un pueblo bello, así que sé que van a aceptar que lo lea.
A little bit nervous, but we're beautiful people and you're inspired by us.
Ok, dice, hoy 24 de septiembre recordamos el día de ayer, un día que el pueblo puertorriqueño se alzó y luchó en contra de la tiranía.
Today is the day that we celebrate, the 23rd, the Puerto Rican revolt against Spain, against its colonizing force. Today is the 24th, but we're celebrating it today because of other issues.
Tiranía que provocaba sufrimiento, pobreza y sobre todo sed en el pueblo, sed por justicia, sed por libertad, sed por igualdad, sed por explorar el valor más esencial en una comunidad, su personalidad humana, su identidad.
Puerto Ricans were terrorized for years, and for years we thirsted for freedom. We thirsted for justice. We thirsted to be out in the community and feel like ourselves, for a sense of humanity.
Es así que hoy aquí conmemoramos a las bravas y a los bravos que ayer, un 23 de septiembre, dijeron no más a la opresión, no más a la tiranía.
Today we commemorate the brave and courageous souls. When we overthrew Spain, we commemorate who they were, and when they said no to tyranny, no more to injustice. All power to the people.
Nos enorgullece como pueblo caribeño y antillano la gran victoria que nace de esta batalla. Una batalla planificada y forjada por los poderosos pueblos del Caribe luchador. Si no fuese por la rígida alianza y colaboración de nuestros vecinos y compatriotas dominicanos, la semilla revolucionaria no habría de tirar pétalos. Recordamos la unión entre Betances y Luperón, que hoy significan las victorias de nuestro pueblo. El grito Grito de Lares fue un grito por y para los pueblos oprimidos.
We commemorate this day because it is a culmination of the Caribbean, of the association of the Antilles, and we remember that day because that day was when we all came together, Dominican people, Cuban people, and we give a special commemoration for Betances and Luperón from the Dominican Republic who organized this.
Bien importante, familia, bien importante. Hoy también recordamos un vil asesinato ocurrido en Hormigueros, Puerto Rico. Un día como ayer, hace 10 años, el veneno del imperio se regó por nuestras montañas hasta llegar a la casa de Filiberto Ojeda Río. Y para combatir contra él llevaron un batallón. Mientras las compañeras y compañeros participaban del evento conmemorativo del Grito de Lares.
Not only do we remember the Puerto Rican Revolution, but also do we remember the killing of Filiberto, the assassination of Filiberto only 10 years ago. We remember this day when a lonely man was living in his house in the mountains where he was overtaken by a SWAT team and murdered on the very same day as the Puerto Rican Revolution. Filiberto was the leader of the macheteros.
La policía del mundo, o sea, el FBI, entró al barrio y rodearon la casa de Filiberto. Una batalla comenzó. Durante la batalla, Filiberto recogió su muy querida trompeta y la tocó. Es así que el disparo le perforó el pulmón y lo dejaron desangrar. Crearon un perímetro y nadie pudo accesar a Filiberto. Nadie tuvo acceso. No pudimos entrar, lo dejaron desangrar.
The FBI came and surrounded the area. It was in these last moments of Filiberto's life that he started playing the trumpet. And in that very same moment, he was shot and killed by the SWAT. He was led to bleed, and his blood had left the house and had gone down to the people that were surrounding the area. The police would not even let ambulances come in. They would not let any help come in to save Filiberto's life.
Y adivinan qué quiso el francotirador que le dio a Filiberto de trofeo, la trompeta. Quería la trompeta. Querían la trompeta de Filiberto. ¡Qué más indignación! ¿Cómo no más simbólicamente nos pueden desmoralizar?
And not only did they kill him and everyone watched this happen, but the SWAT team, very USA style, had requested that they take Filiberto's trumpet and that the shooter take it for him as his prize. We remember this day and how they demoralized our people. On the day of our revolution, they killed our leader.
Aquí hemos de repudiar el racismo con eso en mente, ¿por qué continuarlo? Ya hacemos en tiempo que las masas son convencidas en que existen diferencias entre nosotros y solo nos lanzan en una batalla prolongada y costosa.
It is far late. It is far due time that we come together and engage in a prolonged struggle, in a prolonged education of our people. It is about time that we start talking to each other about how we are united instead of how different we are. It is far too late, but we are still here. It is due time that we continue the fight together.
Aquí yo veo algo, me mudé hace 3 años de Puerto Rico. Un sistema que obliga a la mujer oprimida a dejar a sus propios hijos para criar a los del opresor. Los de ella los ahorcan con la suera militar del imperio. He visto a nuestros niños vestidos de militares desde mi cuarto. He visto a nuestros niños formar líneas de combate. He visto niños pagar con su futuro el impuesto injusto de este sistema. Y esto es en el Bronx, en el 2015.
I've seen people from our community give their lives for the establishment that kills them and that starves them. I've seen them starve. I have seen our people go through the worst just to be accepted. And that is not in Puerto Rico 10 years ago, 5 years ago. That is today, that is in the Bronx, that is what's happening right now.
Con esto cierro y con esto recordarles, acuerdo, Recordamos la vida de todas estas víctimas que con manos en alto han perdido las manos cuando dicen hands up, don't shoot. Lo recordamos hoy también.
I finish with this. We need to understand that not only are we fighting for Puerto Rico, but when our brothers in the struggle, our black brothers and sisters in the struggle scream, hands up, don't shoot, that is our fight too. That is our fight too. That is this community's fight as well.
Y con todo este recordar, les recuerdo a ustedes, compañeras y compañeros, nos toca a nosotros unirnos, nos toca a nosotros encabezar las luchas contemporáneas, nos toca a nosotros retar a las autoridades, equivalernos y mirarlos directos y provocar cambio real. Nos toca a todos nosotros gritar que viva Puerto Rico libre, que viva la unidad independentista y que viva Latinoamérica libre.
¡Que viva!
Frío cal.
And I close with this, saying that we have to remember that the struggle is now, and we have to take it front face and not like a lie, not being told by these politicians, not being told by who we are, but look at it in a critical way. Engage each other and learn from each other. And not only do we talk about Puerto Rico, but all Latin America, the United States, every country oppressed. All power to the people. Que viva Puerto Rico. All power to the people. So now we have Esperanza come to the microphone.
¡Hey!
Hey!
¡People! ¡Que vive el pueblo!
¡Viva el pueblo!
I am here to stand with you today to commemorate Lares and to commemorate all the fallen in Lares and all those who had to go in exile, like Betante, and to commemorate Albizus Campos, the father of our nation, and all the women who fought in the revolution of Puerto Rico in 1950. Because Lares is about taking action, it's about revolution. And I am here to commemorate Filiberto Del Rio, who died for our sins, for us not picking up the banner for justice, for peace, and for independence. Freedom fighters all. Freedom fighters all. And I am here to celebrate the resistance of the Puerto Rican people. We resist, and we resist, and we resist, and to this day we are resisting. And we die. And many of us end up in U.S. jails. And we are here to celebrate all of us who resist. Everyone who's here. We are here to celebrate each other's resistance. And we know that as the part of the fight back, many of us not only die, but we end up in jail. And when we end up in jail, we do many, many, many years, decades. Albizu spent 32 years in prison, and he was tortured like many of our political prisoners. And they released him 6 months before he died of radiation poisoning. That is the consequences of being a freedom fighter. And then, it's my son. There is Oscar Lopez Rivera. He's been in prison for 34 years. I am here speaking in behalf of 34 women for Oscar in Puerto Rico and in New York City. We stand like women have stood historically for the right to be free. We are the backbone of the revolution. We make it happen. I have worked on the campaign to free Puerto Rican freedom fighters since 1968, and we free our political prisoners. We free them in the streets with our community, dealing with our issues. Listen, we talk about housing, we talk about displacement, we talk of the lack of health care. That's why we are revolutionaries. We talk about the issues of education. Right now, Puerto Rico is in a serious economic crisis. Nos está comiendo un clavo. Estamos jodidos. And there's still people who walk around and say, independence for Puerto Rico. Oh, no. What are we going to do without the United States? What are we doing with the fucking United States? That's my question. And I ask you to understand that every Puerto Rican who is forcibly coming to the United States because of economic reasons has risen up the homeless population of New York City. And there's no services to deal with a new, and it's not like we're immigrants, right? Because we have U.S. citizens, and there's no way that they're going to deal with a population of Spanish-speaking people who don't understand this culture, which is crazy, okay, and who need special service. And this was Puerto Rican country, right here where we stand today. And you find very little Puerto Ricans. I was part of the struggle in '68, the CUNY struggle. And it was Puerto Ricans, not Latin Americans, who fought to make CUNY what it is today. That is why all the Latinos are in CUNY. And people forget. And we, the Puerto Ricans, are not in CUNY. The people that fought to open admissions are not in the university. You'll find us not graduating from 8th grade. You will find us on drugs, alcoholics. You want to see Puerto Ricans? Go to 125th Street in Lexington. Okay? That is because we are a colony. Y las colonias se joden. We are the worst of the worst, and people don't understand that. Oscar Lopez Rivera fought for our right to be free. And Oscar has been in prison for 34 years. I invite each one of you to join us, to join me on Sunday on 149th Street and 3rd Avenue and stand for Oscar. I ask you, Nathan, the guy with the petition, I ask you to sign this petition for Sky freedom. Sign them today for Scott's freedom. It's a shame that because we're a colony, the only way we get a patriot out of jail is by having to ask the President of the United States to pardon a man who did what he was supposed to do to free his country. He is innocent, and I hold to that. So, where are you going to be Sunday? At 3:30?
149th and 3rd.
I don't hear it.
149th and 3rd.
Okay. you don't show up, you're not going to get one. And I need you to get one. So you can put it up and talk about Oscar. For Oscar freedom, for the freedom of my nation, for my freedom, for your freedom, all power to the people.
All power to the people.
¡Free Oscar López Rivera!
Se siente, Oscar está presente. Se siente, Oscar está presente. Se siente, Oscar está presente.
Se siente, Oscar está presente.
If you sign the petition, you will get one of them.
Firmen la petición. Hagan línea.
Hagan línea, and I will give you one.
All right, everybody. So next up, we will have an open mic session where we will be allowing speakers. An open mic session. So our next speaker will be Antonio from the Revolutionary Students Coordinating Committee.
Antonio Vasquez. We are here. Why? Because what was Grito de Lares? What did it signify for the Puerto Rican people? It signified the same thing it meant for Dominican people, for Cubans, for Mexicans, for African Americans, for Haitians. That we are at war. That the U.S. imperial power is at war with our people. We are expected to follow laws. We are expected to live in an orderly fashion in a society which has antagonism with us. In a society in which is killing its own people every 28 hours. We need to be very keen. We need to be very keen to what's going on today. It was the Black and Puerto Rican community who fought Santa CUNY. And what happened? Was the U.S. overthrown? No. It wasn't. What happened? Some of our own people from our communities, some of our very own people have joined the ranks of the enemy. Some of our own people have become the police officers. Some of our own people have become the people in power, like Sotomayor, like Obama, like Condoleezza Rice. Some of our own people. Let's be very keen to what's going on. A lot of people talk about the history, but what are we going to do today? Puerto Rico is under U.S. occupation, like Palestine is in the Israeli occupation, like the Bronx and Ferguson and Baltimore is under occupation in the United States. It's very key. Us as Caribbean people, let's take it back. The Taínos, the indigenous people in the Caribbean islands, did not have separate nation states. It was all home to them. All the islands in the Caribbean was the home. And we need to go back to that idea. Because Betanzas and Luperón, as we said before, they weren't just fighting for the separate territories. They were fighting for a united Caribbean Federation. They were fighting for a united Caribbean Federation. And today, when we ask ourselves, how's Puerto Rico going to be independent? Should Puerto Rico even be independent? How are we going to solve the Haiti crisis? How are we going to solve Cuba becoming capitalist? How are we going to solve the neocolonialism that plagues all the countries in Venezuela, in Cuba, in Panama, in Jamaica? How are we going to solve these questions? Divided, they can cut each of our fingers off. But together we can make one fist. One fist to knock out our enemies. There's no coincidence that people of Caribbean descent, Haitians, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, we're in New York City, we're in the tri-state area, we're in South Florida, we're in specific areas concentrated in the United States specifically. We're not just anywhere. There's no coincidence that the U.S. uses different mechanisms to separate our struggles. Muslims are terrorists, blacks are thugs, Latinos are aliens. And they use these different mechanisms ideologically to separate our struggles. Because qualitatively, we face our relationship to the state is different.
Puerto Ricans, African Americans, we have been granted citizenship has been forced upon us to die in U.S. wars. Citizenship has been forced upon us to live in poverty in the Bronx.
Right. Right.
Puerto Ricans and African Americans, once the most exploited people in the United States, guess what? We're exploited by not being exploited, because they're not giving us jobs in the factories anymore. They're putting us in the jails. Instead, it's the undocumented. It's people from Mexico, from Central America, who have taken who will now occupy that space in the U.S. political economy. But nonetheless, as oppressed nationalities, we all have a common enemy. We need to figure out how each of our struggles overlaps and scientifically figure out how to liberate ourselves in the U.S. empire. What do we need to do? Well, as already said, gentrification, the same way the European settlers came in the 1500s and killed and settled these lands, rich people, gentrifiers from Ohio, from upstate New York, from Long Island, are doing the same thing to us right here. They've already come to Brooklyn. They've already come to the Lower East Side. They've already come to places where you didn't even know there were hood people, like Hell's Kitchen, which was full of Puerto Ricans and African Americans back in the day, like San Juan Hill on the Upper East Side, which is full of Puerto Rican and black people, and now you can't even tell. The same way you couldn't tell this was First Nations, this was indigenous territory 550 years ago. We need to defend ourselves. We need to organize the students. We need to organize the workers. We need to organize the tenants. We need to organize every single section of society and build a mass movement to challenge them. We need to organize a strategic center, a political party, a revolutionary party that's going to be able to withstand the attacks the same way that happened in COINTELPRO. And we need a people's army. We need an organization of the people, by the people, because the police are not here to protect and serve us, they're to serve the rich, the 1%. They serve, protect and serve private property. We need our own force. We need all the components that we're going to need to liberate ourselves. It's not about independence. If Puerto Rico became independent today, it will be another neo-colony like the Dominican Republic, like Haiti. Or, if it would take a more left route, it will be embargoed, like Cuba, up until recently. So we need to build strategic unity. We need to take the lessons from the past, to prepare for the present, and build a better future. Thank you.
Pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Now, I want to mention a couple words because I felt that we need to focus not only on the community question, but the international question. That's right. In the Dominican Republic, in Haiti, tens of thousands of Haitians are being deported. Dominican-born Haitians are being deported and killed. To this very day, what we see happening is the racist institution that is also present here. Displaced Haitians from the island. This is an issue that relates to us as well. This is an issue that relates to Puerto Rico. This is an issue that relates to the Bronx. The Latinos and blacks, we have already been through this. We understand what it's about. They don't want us here. They have never wanted us here, have never included us here. But we will fight to stay. And we will fight. And we will fight to educate our people if the establishment is not doing it. We belong here. This is our home. I want to introduce our next performers coming up. They're going to be the King's Poets. Give them a round of applause. Yeah, let's go. Woo! York state of grind, freedom on my mind. Rebel of the times, we was put here by design. We ain't gon' get in line. We gon' hand spit in rhymes. You gon' laugh at a 9 when your purpose is divine. We on that New York state of grind, freedom on my mind. Rebel of the times, we was put here by design. We ain't gon' get in line. We gon' hand spit in rhymes. You gon' laugh at a 9 when your purpose is divine. Yo soy de Nueva York, en donde hay calor y hace frío y peligro como un matador. En una arena Cartagena, bandera ajena. I'm from the city where Diddy, Jay-Z, and 50, Big, Pun, L, and it was synonymous with B.I.G. Out of town, you was VIP. Over here, let me see ID. Get it anywhere. Spin it to you on the subway, a Subway on the buffet, on your lunch break, then I make you make that dumb face. When you on your lunch break, like SJ mixed with Hemingway, New York, they aim for your rights. Where I push words like Hayes in the Heights. We on that New York state of grind, freedom on my mind. Rebel of the time, we was put here by design. We ain't gon' get in line, we gon' hand spit in rhymes. You gon' laugh at a 9 when your purpose is divine. Make some noise for free Puerto Rico, my people.
Hey yo, I love where I'm from. Sometimes I hate where I'm from.
And that's exactly why I can't escape where I'm from.
I said I love where I'm from.
I hate where I'm from, and that's exactly why I can't escape where I'm from.
I grew up like many, many others. Not a lot of fathers, many, many mothers. Dealers slinging crack and weed, asthmatic squeezing. The night silence was shattered by automatic squeezing. Most white folks don't come out unless it's Yankee season. The summer's as hot as hell, and yeah, the winter's freezing. The power's here in the people, but damn, nobody sees it. The kids getting bigger with every change in season. Growing up on the block, they never think of leaving. Abandoned buildings leaning, the fiends already fiending. The school's already teaching us lies. Abusing history's used to losing our minds. Segue to losing our lives, we got roaches in the kitchen, cops politicking. With politicians without permission, your door is kicked in. If not for spitting and noticing how the plot was sticking, I'd probably be in a cell without a spot to thinking. But yo,
I love where I'm from, but
I hate where I'm from, and that's exactly why I can't escape where I'm from.
Nos creamos en New York City, mi hermano, donde siempre te dan la pata pero nunca te dan la mano. Dominicano helado, lágrimas que lloramos, la juventud perdida y nuestros sueños borrados. Grew up in a city where everybody knows Biggie and everybody knows Celia, pero no, todo el mundo en la acera supera si supiera la gran ventaja. El sueño americano sería la gran batalla. Pa'lante, digo siempre pa'lante. Muero primero que dejar mi vida al chance. I'll be damned if I leave it up to the man. I stand firm in this land with my hands in the sands. We grew up in a city where missing fathers and mothers, where little sisters and brothers had to fend for each other. Si se puede, and yeah, homies, that's a fact. Cause besides being about where you're from, it's where you're at. I love where I'm from.
I hate where I'm from, and that's exactly why I can't escape where I'm from.
Say that I love where I'm from.
I hate where I'm from, and that's exactly why I can't escape where I'm from.
Police tape where I'm from, and kids break where I run, playing music out of windows mad late where I'm from. Where we speaking New Eurekan and Jamaicans making music for the struggle like graffiti. Wild style while we bleeding. Believe me, where I'm from, we make love and war. Where out of burning buildings, hip hop got born. Where beats got broke and rock got funk. Where MCs be the ballers and the rock gets took. So if you thought you knew, then you thought wrong. Without the Bronx, New York, you never hear this song. You never hear this flow, you never hear this beat. You go and pay respect to the BX streets. As for me, that's just a lado positivo. The truth of the matter is I'm lucky to be vivo. While shots are popping off, the cops are bought off. Ain't no money for medicine, and the kids got a cough. Just heard from Con Edison, the lights are cutting off. On top of that, there's mad rats and people talk behind your back. And just to go to college, you gotta go to Iraq. And that's why I rap both the sun and the rain. Cause home is where the heart is, and my heart is in pain. But yo, I love where I'm from. I hate where I'm from, and that's exactly why I can't escape where I'm from. I love where I'm from.
Give it up for the people, yeah! Barrio mío, barrio mío, barrio mío, barrio mío, barrio mío. This is still our barrio. This is where the doñas live. Give la bendición. Y si te llevas de consejo, se muere ese viejo. is our educación.
This is salsa con coco.
So if you can't dance to the clave,
Don't even think about stepping in the bodega with a two-step on Macarena.
cause they will let you have it.
This is not a tall Starbucks mocha caramel latte for $6.50.
This is pastelitos,
Y tacos,
arroz,
y habichuelas.
the Botánica Santos.
And till high school, the only diversities in las escuelas is when there's that one white kid in class.
But we all know he's Puerto Rican,
This is fathers who don't know how to show love.
cause they have many affairs with tequila.
And Corona. This is beauty parlors and nail salons that use way too much makeup.
This is $5 shaker.
This is Rafael Montañez Ortiz.
Celia Cruz.
This is Juan Luis Guerra. This is our fight till history books tell the stories of our people laying down the border. This is us ready to burn down all the barns of nobles because communities
Don't put up borders.
See, our demand for citizenship is out of order.
Skin color out of order.
Human rights is out of order.
But throw us in the shitter when their toilets are out of order.
Cause it's okay for us to be janitors and porters.
Or serving hors d'oeuvres to tourists while reporters call us foreigners.
Paying us less than 7 1/4, expecting us to find livable quarters for our sons and daughters. While you try to deport us.
When from Africa, you exported us.
Imports in a strange land. We made it home. Sorta. Still, we wonder what you expected for us, cause we still celebrate life despite being boxed in a corner. This is your street.
My street.
Our streets.
Our children.
And we heard it takes a whole village to raise just one. So this is our fight to make el barrio libre, so that we can see the children of truth grow. Barrio libre, barrio libre, barrio libre, barrio libre.
We live on our knees, we die on our feet, we ride the streets. We don't sit down and complain. We are people of action. Everything we do is fighting for change. We represent peace because it's so critical. We represent peace because our soul's spiritual. You ain't no peace can be this lyrical. I say peace to the Be the Change movement. The movers in the front and the people who ain't moved yet. Don't forget, change is pursuing. Don't forget, change takes time to loosen. Don't forget, Malcolm X was a truant. I say peace because I've lost so many to violence. And I speak peace because I've lost many more to silence.
So I say peace to the poets who propagate peace, who keep it really real with no props in their piece. I'm looking to change the world, not for props in these streets. Spit rhymes in the face of war, hurricanes, and police. Believe me, it's not easy to speak when the powers that be disagree with your speech. But we gotta give back to the places that made us. We gotta show respect to the elders that shaped us. We gotta lend direction to the youth to replace us. And teach them love and compassion for the people that hate us.
I said peace to the poets who propagate peace. From the west side, baby, down south to the east. Rock your heart for your pops, mom, nephew, and niece. Doing this out of love, because war is a peace. We spit for all ages, grad school to third graders, in a mosque, in a church, from Baptists to Crusaders. We spit to uplift the gifts that God gave us. The power of the words we heard and might save us.
I say peace to the
Poets who propagate peace.
with love in their hearts to operate on these streets. I salute your voices when they don't want us to speak. When an injustice takes place to any one of my peeps, I won't back down, I won't be at ease. I can't stay shut when little kids can't eat. When grandmothers get evicted and ain't got a place to sleep. While companies make trillions but won't give a piece. To deny ourselves of our global family is to deny ourselves of our own humanity. But with the ancestors guided, no cliff is too steep. We hold it down with y'all. Know where we propagate peace.
We say peace to the poets who propagate peace, and power to the people who march in these streets, and words to the workers who walk in bare feet, and light to the writers who fight to get free. I see me in you, and you in me, in the streets of Cochabamba, taking back el agua, rocking Sandinista parties when we took Managua, shook my fist in Nueva York, yelling no a la guerra, environmentalists to protect la tierra, and I'm a feminist porque respeto mi madre, soy padre y bebé, the struggle of every day, abuelita y hijitos, soy la gente que grita, el pueblo unido jamás será vencido. I'm the people united and I will never be divided, I'm the people who riot and I will never be quiet, I'm the ones to rebel, but so stuck in the cell. I'm the people who see we are not yet free, because I am the people, and the people are me. Peace. Thank y'all so much. Yeah. So we are the Peace Poets. We live right up the block, so it's so beautiful to be on this corner with y'all. It's an honor, yeah, come through. All right, and so, Honduras, we love to just meet and build with everybody. Thank you again for having us. We want to close with the voice of the people. When I say people, y'all say power. People, power. People, power. When I say we want, y'all say freedom. We want freedom. We want freedom. When I say we are, y'all say together. We are together. We are together. Thank you. Woo!
Thank you, Peace Poets. Thank you. Where are we? Grito de what? Grito de what? Grito de what? ¡Que viva Puerto Rico!
Esto también.
So now we're gonna have Jose and Camilo come and say some words about the economic justice and organizing. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Let's give them a round of applause, everybody. Yeah.
What the Grito de Lares about? In 1868, when the Puerto Rican people rose up in struggle against the Spaniards, against the colonial rulers, to their
José,
independence.
el megáfono.
For their independence, for their economic liberation, for their political liberation. It was about struggle, and we're here today because we're about struggle. So Camilo and I are going to be really brief. We just want to say that when you leave here, be organizing. You're here because you're organizers. And if you didn't think of yourself as organized before you got here, you're organizers now because you're conscious and because you're aware of what's going on in this society. The brutality against the immigrants, the exploitation of working people, police brutality, the way tenants are being treated, the Donald Trump's racism, etc. We could go on and on all about it. When you leave here, though, it's important that you think about yourself as organizers. So whether you go home in the building that you live in, you are an organizer. Talk to the other tenants about the conditions in the building. Talk to them about organizing. Talk to them about rent strikes. If you work, wherever you work, if you work for less than $10 an hour, in particular, talk about the struggle for a decent wage of $15 an hour. It's not a decent wage, but we gotta begin talking more and more about organizing on the job. If you go to school, if you're a student at Lehman College, you gotta be talking about the incredible tuition that people are paying these days. When I went to Lehman College back in the late 60s, we paid $15 to register. Why aren't public universities free? They were free back then because we struggled, and they should be free today for all of us. So you gotta struggle again for free universities. When you go to whatever clinic you go to, whatever health care, you gotta be there struggling. I'm trying to speed this up because Camilo is getting heavier. So all I want to say is, when you go back home, talk to the people on the corner. Don't forget about them. Don't rule them out when it comes to struggle, because they can play a very important role. And just walking here, I noticed all the garbage in the street, and I was thinking back to the young lords. I can't remember, it was 1970, 69, whatever, when they had the garbage offensive in East Harlem. And because the sanitation department would not give them the brooms to clean the street, they took the brooms, they stole the brooms, they appropriated the brooms, they put the garbage out there in the street. I think it was 3rd Avenue, and some of the people around burned it, and they got the attention of the city department. We need to organize. We need to put pressure on the people who are pushing us down. So what do we say, Camilo? People! Power! People! Power! all the great people.
Familia, hay una noticia bien importante y es que Oscar López Rivera ha dejado un mensaje y es que el pueblo puertorriqueño y la deuda que se nos está implementando hay que repudiarla porque no es de nosotros. Que paguen los responsables, que los responsables de esa deuda paguen. Nosotros no la vamos a pagar.
Family, I have an important message for you all today. We just got a message from Oscar Lopez himself saying that the Puerto Rican crisis and the debt does not belong to the Puerto Rican people. That's right. That it is the job of the investors to pay for that debt. The working people will not pay for that debt. Next, we're going to have Lehman College, the Vice President of the People Power Club, come and speak. Give a round of applause, people. That's right. Let's go.
I need an echo. Echo.
Echo, echo.
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 I don't speak Spanish.
I don't speak Spanish.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
It's because my family
It's because my family
was forced out of Puerto Rico
was forced out of Puerto Rico
for financial reasons.
for financial reasons.
Now, I don't know how to cook rice and beans that well.
I don't know how to cook rice and beans that well.
And I wonder why for that too.
I wonder why for that too.
Because
My family
was pushed out of Puerto Rico
Was pushed out of Puerto Rico
because of financial reasons.
because of financial reasons.
So who else
So-
is going to suffer through that?
So who else is going to suffer through that?
Who else is going to have to live without their culture?
Who else is going to have to live without their culture?
Who else is going to live without their people?
Who else is going to live without their people?
I might have people in the Bronx.
I have people in the Bronx.
But there's Puerto Ricans coming who don't know people.
but there's Puerto Ricans coming who don't know people.
And there's Puerto Ricans coming who are leaving for financial reasons.
And there's
Puerto Ricans coming
that are
who are leaving for financial reasons.
I need a better echo than that. Echo!
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 Okay. Are we going to let more Puerto Ricans get thrown out of their own islands?
Are we
Are we going to let more Puerto Ricans get thrown out of their own islands?
Are we?
No!
Thank you. What are we going to do about it? Let's do it again. What are we going to do about it?
What are we going to do about it?
Does someone have an answer?
I got an answer.
What is it?
We gonna make some money. We gonna invest in our community. We gonna kick these motherfuckers out. We gonna re-educate our people. We gonna rehumanize our people because we've been dehumanized. It starts with knowledge itself. We gotta teach our people who they are and where they come from. And once they know who they are, where they come from, they're gonna want to do better. And they're gonna make sure that nobody else can do this to us again. And that's what we have to do.
That's perfect.
Power to the people.
Power
to the people.
What else can we be doing? Because not all of us can make money. I work on minimum wage. What else can we do?
Organize!
Organizing.
Organize!
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 Organize! Educate! Educate!
So where should we be organizing? In the streets.
Everywhere.
In our
the
streets.
parks.
Everywhere. In our hood. That's where we should be organizing. Where we have people. Where our homies are and where our families live. So what are we doing after we leave here?
Organizing.
What are we doing?
Organizing.
Oh, y'all gonna be coming out. Echo!
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 So what are we gonna do when we go home, back to our hoods, whether that's here, the South Bronx, or Brooklyn?
Organize!
Thank you. So follow us on People Power Lehman Instagram. If you're taking videos, tag us, because we want to stay connected and we need to organize with you. We want to be part of your movement. Thank you.
When I say people, you say power. People.
Power.
People.
Power.
When I say people, you say power. People.
Power.
People.
Power.
When I say whose streets, you say our
Whose streets?
Ours.
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 All right, so now we're gonna have Mark Torres come talk a little about organizing, what that looks like in the People Power movement. Let's please welcome Mark Torres, the chair of the People Power movement.
When I say, what do we have? You say power. What do we have?
Power.
What do we have?
Power.
When I say, what do we have? You say power with your fist up. What do we have?
Power.
What do we have?
Power.
What do we have?
Power.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Now we're here at this corner because it says Grito de Lares Way. Now that's commemorating the first independence struggle for Puerto Rico that was supported by the Dominican Republic, that was supported by the Republic of Cuba. And it shows that when our people come together, we have power. What do we have?
Power.
What do we have?
Power.
And so what we're saying right now in Puerto Rico, there's an economic, political crisis led by the capitalists, by the corporations that are right here on Wall Street. The same people who are raising the rent in that building, raising the rent in that building, trying to close out that corner store. It's the same people. So what we're saying is when we fight in Puerto Rico for power, we gotta fight on Kingsbridge Road for
Power.
For
Power.